Hey everybody, I know that we're all looking for better ways to make everything fit in our freezer. And yes, Joanne, I know it's all my fault. I think we should be freezing leftovers, we should be freezing veggies, we should be freezing a lot of things. So one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about is super cubes. They're super awesome. Get it? And they've sent me their kind of starter kit to try out and to show you, which is super cool. And I'm going to show you all of this stuff, and we're going to talk a little bit about it, how we'll store things, and then I'm going to go to the side and freeze some stuff in here, and then I'll show you at the end what all that looks like when you've done it, okay? So in this set, you can buy them individually. You don't have to buy them in a set. And so this one, and you can get them in different colors too, which I think is cool, but isn't as super important to me. Though when you see the cookie tray, it's kind of awesome. This is, I think these are 2 tablespoons. Yeah, it says here 2 tablespoons on the tray. Right? So this would be perfect for freezing bouillon, for freezing pesto. Maybe if you did some purees or different things like that, this is great. And don't forget, you don't have to have 10 of these, though you could, and stack them up. You could also freeze part in here, pop it out into a Ziploc or a resealable bag, and then freeze some more. So it's okay to start where you are, and you don't have to get all the things, okay? Now, some things that are super good about these is this is metal around in here. So this is really nice and solid. It's also thick. Let me make sure I'm reading these things right for you. But it's thick FDA food grade silicone and sturdy with steel reinforced rims to maintain the shape and prevent spills. Because that can be a thing if you have especially a thinner silicone thing to freeze things in, they can get kind of wobbly. This is not wobbly at all. This lid is nice to have it come on top too. So sometimes with my older ice cube trays, I should toss them in, hope that I remember to take them out before they get super dry on top. That's not going to happen here. And you can put these in the dishwasher, the oven, the freezer, obviously. I think it says don't put in the microwave. Yeah, don't put them in the microwave. They're stackable, as you can see, right? So that makes nice work of freezer space, because then we're looking at something like this. So if you just have the freezer that comes with your refrigerator, it helps to pack things up. So let's look at the different portions. So this is kind of like for bouillon. And you guys know that you should be making my bouillon. You can go to plantbasedinstantpot.com or healthyslowcooking.com and get bouillon recipes that you can make in your Instant Pot, slow cooker, stovetop, oven, whatever. It's cheap, and this is a good way. Now this is, you can do half cup or quarter cup. So that top one is a half cup and the one below is a quarter cup. So you can portion things out the way you want to. This is 6. And then again, you can either leave them in like this until you're ready to go, or you can pop them out and put them in a freezer bag. This one, oh, and I just noticed something else, you guys. Okay, so I showed you one way that was a quarter cup. It's also got 125 ml and 50 ml. So it has on one side it's milliliters, on the other side it's cups, and that's the same on this one. So this one is 1 cup or a half cup, or 250 milliliters or 125 milliliters. So that's pretty cool right there too. So this could be for sauces, soups, like, so I just made in class, I made a tempeh bolognese, and Cheryl froze it for me. And I'm pretty sure she put in like 4 or 5 cups at the same time. I would rather do either single portions or enough for both of us and no more, because that way we don't have to freeze it, refreeze it, freeze it, right? So it's better to have these things in exactly the amount you want. Now, one thing I'm super excited about is this one. And there's something over here that I'll show you why. I didn't even know these existed until they sent them to me, and I think it's a super idea. And so these are 2 cups. So one of the things that they suggest, they have a recipe on there, and I think they had a recipe on here. Here they have a chicken soup recipe. Make my soy curl soup. And on here they have a family-friendly lasagna recipe, and so I'm probably going to get this recipe up soon. I made a cottage cheese out of silken tofu and firm tofu. You could use that and Miyoko's mozzarella if you wanted to, and you don't need to use an egg to do any of that. But you can make something similar, so you can make individual lasagnas. You could do that in here too, because this would be about half the amount if you were trying to help yourself portion control, you know, calorie heavy foods. So that if you know that's how much you've unfrozen, so you have to eat that much soup, salad, steamed vegetables, and it can just be easier. But so I love this idea because I was thinking I can make either 2 little meatloaves, because if I made a meatloaf, Cheryl and I could probably split one of those, or a lasagna as well. And then with the set, it comes with these ceramic dishes that I haven't opened yet, because, oh yeah. So then what you would do is literally pop it out and put it right in there. See how it fits? And then you can put it in the oven. And it's all done. There are not lids, double checking, no lids. So you might need to put some foil on it or something like that. But since they don't want these to go in the microwave, these can go in the microwave. They can go in the oven, the microwave, and they're dishwasher safe. They're just ceramics. I don't think they said anything about the glaze. It's a 5x5 baking dish, which but basically you can kind of put it from the freezer to the oven. They're stackable as well. So if you had a larger family, you could have that. They're food safe, dishwasher safe, microwavable safe, oven safe. And you can follow Supercubes on Instagram. You can go and get more recipes on their site. But basically, while you can get some great ideas, you already have recipes. Like this is perfect for soups. Even this, soups and stews. And these smaller ones, I would love some chili for me to make my chili dip. Right? I'll just take that out, put some tortillas in an air fryer, and then I have my little happy pretend queso extravaganza, which I love. Okay, so we have these. Now the other thing that I haven't mentioned yet, and I am going to wash all these before we come back and I'm putting stuff in, is they have cookie trays. So you have seen me use cookie trays before. And it's just very cool. Well, and this, I just think this plastic is just, it looks like a party, doesn't it? It's just so cool. I live the life of the easily amused. All right, and it has the same wire steel through there. So when you make cookie dough, you can go ahead and make, like how many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 2 dozen. So if you made, let's say you were gonna make a dozen cookies, you could go ahead and make 3 dozen cookies and then freeze in cookie shapes, pop out 1 cookie. This is what we do in the winter. So we pop out 1 cookie, we put it in our little Breville toaster oven or the Ninja toaster oven, and we have fresh warm cookies. And it works really well with my black bean cookie, devil's food cookie recipe. And you can get that on Healthy Slow Cooking as well. So those have no oil at all, and they're very cake-like. They're delicious. So you've got to try that. So I'm going to wash up a couple of these and then we're going to put some chili in there. These are all clean and good. And this is half of the batch of chili that I made. And I need to give you guys this chili recipe because it's amazing. So this chili is made with 2 pounds of Rancho Gordo beans, some soy curls, some Rancho Gordo chili powder, mushroom powder, Mexican oregano, so many yummy, yummy, yummy things. And hopefully the recipe for this will be up soon. But I've been making just as much as my 6-quart slow cooker will hold and freezing it. And I've frozen it some in some other silicone containers that weren't quite as suited for stacking. They're not as tough as this. So I'm really excited to try it in this one. So again, these are my little 1/2 cup and 1/4 cup ones. So I'm just taking this scoop that's from one of my Instant Pots because I'm thinking that's going to be an easy way to get it into these thin containers. And I'll scrape off some of the others. I think you'd want to use something like this for the smaller one. Because like a big scoop is just not going to fit in there. It would have been interesting to do this before I had given away some chili to see just how much chili I made. But I can tell you it was a whole lot. It was enough that it was hard to lift up the slow cooker. Now, even though this looks kind of like a hot mess, and it is kind of a hot mess, don't panic. We'll get a nice spatula, we'll scrape most of that off, and it'll be perfect. It is good to do it a little bit under, just so it has some space to freeze and expand. But if you don't do that perfectly, that's okay too. Okay, so we're going to take a spatula and we're just going to spatula it. Yay to the spatula. So we can take it off like this. And we can scrape it off in there. And we can also take a wet paper towel or a wet clean cloth and do the same thing. I'm just trying to get as much of this excess in the cube as I can instead of just wasting it. It's a tiny amount, but when you're going ahead and you're making food to help you out in your future, so you know you're trying to do something nice for yourself, just go ahead and do it. Now, I would not leave any of this all smushed around like this. So we're gonna get I feel like this one's a little light, so I'm gonna get a couple more pieces in here. It's okay, we want to freeze in a nice solid block. So doing this will let everything rest. And then I'm gonna wet this. It's just a little reusable paper towel that I got at Home Goods. And so you can just wash them up and then put them back together. So it looks like this. It's cute, huh? You could also make those yourself. I am not always so good at making it myself, but you could do it. Right now I'm just like wanting to kind of have my own frozen food available to me. So especially with summer coming, and you can make lots of tomato sauces with fresh tomatoes and things like that. This is a great way to start preserving it. And this way I could have chili in August when it's too hot for me to cook chili, and I could just put them in some tacos and see how that just goes right over there. And then we're gonna do another one. So once these are done, and by done, I mean frozen. Take something like this. You can use a non-silicone, not reusable bag, But I think this is the Stasher half gallon. But what you would do is after these are frozen and hard, you'd pop them out. And if they don't want to, they should pop out because silicone you can move around. If not, you can put them under a little bit of warm water and then pop them out. And so we'd have little blocks in here, and then I can just grab out one or two as I need it. So that's kind of our end goal. And so this is how we start to get there. So let's do that with the half cup. No, the 1 cup. This was the half cup, quarter cup. This is the 1 cup, half cup, meaning the smaller one is filling them halfway full. Let's get some more of this stuff put away because it's been sitting in my fridge, taking up too much space. And I love chili. So to me, chili is a meal. I make it, I'll put it over brown rice. I will make nachos. I can make taco salads. I can make so many things with chili. And you may feel the same way about something else. Maybe you could also put rice in these, and I would pack it a little bit. Not super hard because you don't want it to turn into just like a little sushi block, but that could also be nice to go ahead and have just the right amount frozen in a block to take out, and then you could heat it up in the microwave or on the stove, however you choose to do it. Normally, I would just see how full I can get all these, like a goal. But I think having the rest of this in 4 fairly even sections, I may not get a whole cup out of each one of them, and I'm okay with that either way. Mostly, to me, this is reading full dinner. I would put it over rice. Maybe we would put it in a burrito or on a tostada, something like that. You can also make like tofu rancheros. So we could use tofu, scrambled tofu, get a tortilla, like I usually use like an almond flour tortilla, crisp that up, put the chili in, put the scrambled tofu on top of there. You could put some Miyoko's or your favorite vegan chili, or you can look on the YouTube channel. I have a recipe for a sliceable oil-free vegan cheese that you could also make, and then it's easier to grate the cheese once it's frozen, and then you could freeze it in the amounts that you wanted to. But I think this is more suited. See how I'm getting every last bit that I can over here, right? And it's not just about being cheap. That's a little bit of it, honestly. It's going to make this dish easier to clean. So I am definitely pro spatula all the time. So again, I'm going to take this. We're just kind of dropping it, letting gravity fill in those spaces. Okay, and then I'm going to get a different one, just so I don't spread the other stuff that was already there. I may not need a cloth on this one because there's not as much. This was a little bit easier to get everything in, just because it's a wider opening. So imagine how easy it is to use these. And with this, you can make little mini lasagnas, little mini meatloaves, any kind of casserole that you'd like. And I think it would be neat to make some of those so that you're kind of making your own frozen meals. We talk about this a lot. If you see it at Trader Joe's, you can make it at home. So like if we see, some things are harder. So if you see the pasta with the sauce, they're freezing the pasta separately and freezing the sauce in little cubes, kind of like this, right? So that's something you could do. Or if there's some different sauces you're making and maybe you're not going to use all of them, maybe you want to make a pineapple teriyaki sauce, you could freeze it in cubes, use it for later. So think about about the things that make your life easier. That's what these freezer trays, and for us freezing things, that's the whole reason it exists. So for instance, with our bouillon that we always make, I love making that because it's super inexpensive. It's an onion, a few stalks of celery, a couple of carrots, and some thyme. Usually I put in there, though you could put mushrooms and different herbs. And then I add nutritional yeast when I'm blending it all together. But it's very inexpensive compared to vegetable broth buying at the store, which is expensive, or bouillon, which is very expensive. So when we're looking at these things, and they're not cheap, but these are gonna last you really forever. I have some knockoffs, and I don't use them because A, the stuff is hard to get out, B, it's hard to clean. They're not the ideal size the way these are. So I didn't go and get more of those, and these are just awesome. Okay, so we're gonna stack these guys up and we're gonna put them in the freezer. And I can carry them all stacked up just like this. It's best to layer them bigger to smaller. Not like how I had it, just as far as stacking and ease of getting in and out. So you guys, it's a different day, different time, different t-shirts even. So we've frozen the chili in our first Super Cube experiment. And so we have these smaller blocks and these larger blocks. So what I'm gonna do, I have some different kinds of resealable, reusable containers that I like. So we're gonna see what size fits in what. A lot of them. This is the larger, I think it's a half-gallon stasher, and it's really nice and good for larger things. I also have my handy dandy Expo erasable marker. So what that means is when we erase it is when we're washing it. So it's easy. Now, what can happen is you'll get some condensation when you bring things out of the fridge. And actually, we can see a little bit of condensation here, I think. Can you guys see that? Where it's kind of like this little bit of ice melting. If that happens, it will also take the marker off. So be aware of that and kind of mindful. So if you're taking and sitting a bunch of things out of the freezer, waiting till the next half hour or so, your name will drip away. So there's still the good old masking tape and pen, and that does not go away. So, so there's a lot of different varieties. There are even these that are not quite as nice, but come in larger sizes. I've been having trouble finding these in gallon sizes. So let's just see what we can do. I'm gonna get the, it helps if I use the tab that was made for it. You can see that one and the larger ones. They're frozen and they're really nice. This will be easy to clean up. So first thing I'm gonna try is just rocking them. And it looks like those are gonna come out pretty good. Oh, actually, I'm just gonna press up underneath and it's coming out just fine. So we've got this guy and I'm gonna sit him in this one. But let me show you. So what I did is I had rocked it and things didn't move a whole lot. But when I came here, I held it and I just pushed up on the bottom a little bit. That's all I'm doing. No extreme motion at all, and it pops right out. So that's super easy. And it will come up all the way, so we'll pop that back down. I think the ones in the middle are a little more frozen solid, but they're all pretty frozen solid. So there's the inside of that. So they all came out really ridiculously easy. Now what I will say, and let me get a reusable paper towel, anyone? I think I had this earlier in the video. Okay, so the thing about these is they can be a little hard to close, and the max is right there. So I think this is going to be 2 little bags. We can put 3 cubes in each, seal them, and easy peasy. I will say these are the zip top bags, and they're pretty nice too. Let's see if I have them shaped like this. They also close. So it just depends on your freezer space. Now, could you not leave it in this until you're ready? Absolutely. You could leave this and just pull out one as you want to use it. There's no problem doing that. And in fact, it's going to take up less freezer space if I left it there, but I'm going to use it for some other things. So there are 2 ways to go. I think if you can afford it, get a couple of sets if you find yourself using them. Go ahead and like put out an alert for sales for sure. But I definitely want more. So let's go ahead and take a look at this guy. All I'm doing, I didn't even go back and forth this time. I'm just pushing up from the bottom because this is pretty big. There we go. I'm going to see how many ginormous ones will fit in here. And these were cup size, like 1 cup. Let's see. Press that back in. Come back from over here. So they're really easy to get out. I did not leave these sit for a while. I also did not run any water over them. So this is straight from a really cold freezer. So this was super easy, like really super easy. So what I'll do is I'll take these guys and I'm going to put them in the dishwasher so that I can have some more stuff to freeze in these. So I was also thinking of freezing some soups. You could freeze pestos. Of course, the smaller ones would be good for that. I am going to make a few other recipes that we're going to use with these. I'm going to make some for the big ones where we heat it up in those ceramic containers that come with the starter kit. I'll probably go ahead and make like a special extravagant bouillon or some pesto depending on how quick herbs come to be. And I'll show you that too. But just the construction of these super cubes is amazing. Again, don't forget it's got that wire or steel around it. It's not going to break down very easy, and it's lovely having these cup measurements in here too. And even with the cookie tray, it told you what size scoop you need to exactly fill that tray. We're going to make some cookies too. So think of me when you're eating some chili, and what I'm going to try and do too. So this video is going to come up long before a video of a post is, but I'm going to come back and add a post to this chili, and I'll go ahead and put a couple links down below and some of my favorite chili recipes that would freeze perfectly in these super cubes. Let me know in the comments if you have some, how you like it, and what's your favorite size or color. Talk to you guys real soon.